Hello arcade gamers and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Tonight we're going to be doing my 61st Chill and Chat live. Like we've been doing every week, we have guests every other week. So tonight it'll just be me and we're going to discuss home arcade. I like these nights because I can kind of dive deep into these subjects a little bit more, get a lot more of my opinions out there. But then we switch it up the following week, get some guests, get their opinions. So I like this platform and how we're scheduling this. So you guys let me know, if we need to make any changes. Should we go solo more often or should we have more guests? Just let me know and I'll adjust accordingly. But let's say hi to everyone who's in the chat. I want to first speak and just say hi to everyone who's in the chat here. Damian Williams, he was the first one that I saw on the chat tonight. I know there were a couple chats that came in before that, though. I think Carlo had chatted and Jason, but those are missing now. So Damian's the first one on my list. He's using our emojis. If you guys want to become a member of the channel, definitely do so. It's only 99 cents a month. You can use the emojis. You also get the tag next to your name showing how long you've been a member. And then also I try, especially on these solo nights, to put priority on the member chats and bring those up. Carl O's here. He's saying, looking forward to the show. Jason Little Aliens here. He's saying, evening gamers. John Pittner's here. He says, should be a fun one tonight. It definitely will be. We've got a lot lined up to talk about tonight. You know, you would think news would be slow right now, watching a lot of the other streams this week, but I've actually got a lot to talk about, surprisingly. Just, thinking of ideas, being creative on ideas. And I think I've got a pretty good show lined up for you guys tonight. Addicted to Arcade1up. He's saying, hello, Biggie D in chat. I was checking out Addicted to Arcade1up stream earlier today. I'll watch other streams in the community the same day I stream because sometimes it gives me ideas and it gets the brain moving and thinking more about, ideas for the show. And Addicted to Arcade1up. He's been improving his streaming setup and making all kinds of changes to give us a better show. So, I would tell you guys, go check out Addicted to Arcade1up. He's got a really good live stream going now. Brooklyn Menace, he's saying it's the Biggie D show. Absolutely it is. Good to see you, Brooklyn Menace. You can always check him out on Friday nights for the Friday Night Arcade Show. Jason's here again saying, welcome, Addicted to Arcade1up. James hates everything. He's saying going to everything. Oh, James hates everything. Going to the bigger D. Good to see you, James. Also been checking out your stuff as well. You've got a lot of really good content going right now with your slides. The stream you had, I think it was last night, was hilarious with all the different collaboration cabinets. I had a pretty good laugh during that stream. Giovanni Sean, he's saying made it. Hope I'm not late before I super chat something to show. LOL. Good to see you, Giovanni. Leo is here. He's saying, what's up, everyone? Good to see you. All right, guys. So let's get into our subjects tonight because we got a lot on tap I want to talk about. And I want to start with New Wave Toys. I'm leading the show with New Wave Toys. I've been doing this for a couple weeks now, mainly for this reason. I got this bad boy here. I've done shorts of it. I've also posted a picture on community post. I've also got the Berserk. Haven't opened these yet. These are going to be reviews. Just trying to find the time to sit down and make one. I am not a huge review guy. Like I can do them, but I'm not super efficient on how to produce those, and it takes me a long time to get going. Once I get going and I'm making everything, it seems to go pretty smooth. It's just getting the plan in place to make the review. And I don't just want to spit out a review just for you guys to watch it. I want to, make something that's worthy of your time, and something different. There's always a lot of New Wave Toys reviews out there. I always want to make mine a little bit different as well. Papa Brad's Gaming, he's here. He's got a membership. He's been a member now for 8 months. So that's awesome to see. Thank you for the support, Papa Brad. I had also filled in for him last night on Star Wars reviews Arcade Talk and Star Wars Reviews with T. McCloskey. And we just had like a real chill night where we just talked home arcade for about an hour, hour and a half. And didn't really have much of a plan in place. Just we're chatting. Had a really good time. Andy's Game Room is here. Good evening, all. And so, yeah, leading with new Wave Toys tonight. And mainly because I've got the Frenzy, I've got the Berserk. But also there's some really big news happening with new Wave Toys right now behind the scenes. We've known this for quite some time. Ever since September, when we were at the Cleveland Gaming Classic, the whole community was there. Shiloh was there, New Wave Toys were there, and they announced that partnership with Glenn's Retro Show that they were going to be producing or making some new cabinet. And it's been all that time now, and we still haven't seen what that's going to be. But I think we're getting very close. I watch Glenn's Retro Show every Friday, and he gave us a little bit more information again this week. And it's kind of the same information we've been getting each week, which is I guess he kind of gave us a little more info this week. He said we're pretty much done with everything. Everything is completed. We're just waiting on the sign off from the license or that we have to get the license from. And that's what's holding things up. If it weren't for that, they could go ahead and announce it right now. Everything's ready to go. So it sounds like as soon as they get that finalized, either they're going to go on sale immediately or the pre-orders are going to start immediately. And he had said it would be, a few weeks maybe, but it could be any day now. So definitely want to speculate. I have no idea what this is. I've heard a lot of people in the community talking about how this could be a full-size cabinet. Heard a lot of speculation on the Viper board being involved because the Viper board hasn't yet been released, but it's predicted or speculated that it could be in this new product that they're releasing as well. So we'll find that out here very soon, but let's kind of get into this, okay? So New Wave Toys, we know who they are. We know them very well. They do the small miniature 1/6 scale arcade machines. They do an amazing job with these machines. Their amount of detail that they go into for each cabinet is just insane. The amount of work they go into to make sure that these look and replicate the exact thing you would see in real life on the real arcade cabinet. And this is something they've been doing for a long time, a lot longer than I've been doing YouTube. I think they've been around 5 or 6 years. But I just started collecting them towards the end of last year. And I've really got into these miniature 1/6 scale arcades because I'm running out of room. I have very little room. The room you guys see behind me is where majority of my arcades are. And then I've got a couple in the living room. But I've run out of space. So I've started like a little rack over here, a little shelving unit to the right of my arcades. And I'm starting to place my 1/6 scale arcades in there. And when I'm playing the 3/4 scale, I'm having a really good time looking in between games or when there's downtime in that game to the right and seeing those 1/6 scale arcades and seeing those marquees and seeing those in their track mode. And I knew this would happen. I knew as soon as I got into the New Wave Toys that it would just be, floodgates would open and I would immediately start just collecting these. I knew that was going to happen. And that's why I kind of held off for a long time of getting into these, is because I knew it would just be another addiction like the 3/4 scale was. And with not having the need for room for these makes it even more likely that I'm going to just impulse buy these when they come out. So I was really interested in what this partnership was with Glenn, and I've been really interested in what this could possibly be because no one knows. And there's been so much speculation out there as far as the full size, it housing the Viper board. We even talked last night on T. McCloskey's show about the possibility of having interchangeable artwork on this cabinet, where you could essentially take off a side panel or a marquee and just snap in a new one for whatever game you want or whatever game you're playing that night. So that was some cool speculation and something that I would like to see as well. So what could it be? What could this actually end up being? And so it got me thinking. So we've got New Wave Toys involved. We got Glenn's Retro Show, but then we've got this outside company that we have no clue who it is. We have no clue what their part is in this. And we just know that they have a license that Glenn and New Wave Toys needs. So what could that be? That's the, and I made a triangle on the thumbnail because it's a 3-part agreement and deal that they're making to produce this. It involves 3 parts. You got 2 of the 3 ready to go, and you've got this one left that still has some some needs or some things that might need to be changed before it releases. So that's what I want to speculate on, is what could that possibly be? And, you know, that could be any number of the New Wave Toys games. So it could be any one of the ones that they've released in the past, and they're just making it into a full-size cabinet. And, or it's a full-size cabinet and it'll have the interchangeable artwork with all their licenses that they hold. That would be really cool to see that. And then I believe also that this is going to house a Viper board, and you can pretty much play whatever game you want on it. You can play light gun games, you can play racing games, trackball games, joystick and button arcade games. So that's just my speculation, and really I don't have much else to tell you guys tonight because I really don't know, and no one else does. But it's fun to talk about, and it's fun to think about. And also I wanted to kind of get you guys in the chat and get your opinions on what you think it may be. And maybe we can, you know, have this discussion go a little bit longer based on what you guys want to see or what you guys say. Thor KC says, I officially prefer collecting replicates and quarter arcades over Arcade1up, etc. Easier on the wallet, absolutely. You're looking at a $200, maybe $300 as opposed to $500-$600. Easier to find space, absolutely. It's only 1/6 scale as opposed to a 3/4 scale or larger arcade, and they actually look like the real thing. So that thinks, and everything you said is accurate, and that makes me think, you know, if it is a full size, they're probably not going to do individual licenses for each full size cabinet. It'll be a multi-cade with the interchangeable artwork, because they don't. Part of what drives their business are the smaller arcades, and us, you know, running out of space, wanting to still collect arcades. That is what really drives their business. So they don't want to hinder that by making a bunch of full-size cabinets. But if they were to make one full-size cabinet that's a multi-cade, that wouldn't interfere with that other business that they have going on. Jason's saying, what size figures work best posting with the 1/6 scale? What size figures work best? Oh, you're talking about the action figures and stuff. So I haven't gotten any action figure collecting, so I haven't been doing any of that. I've just got one that PD7 sent me. It's a Superman, and that's the only action figure I got, and I kept it in the packaging. I feel like if I collect any of those, I'm going to keep them in the packaging just for the collector purpose of those, because I don't see myself pulling them out and playing with them. You know, I'm into the arcades, but not necessarily the action figures that go with them, that I've been seeing a lot on the group, on the Facebook group and the Reddit groups. John Phillips is here. He's saying he's late, but he's here. Salute, sir. Good to see you, John Phillips. Marine 50 says, I would love to build a whole 1/6 scale arcade with figures. So yeah, there is a lot of people out there that love doing that, and they like setting up the scene with the small arcades and the little figures in there, and just setting up their own miniature arcade for photograph purposes or photography purposes. And that's a really cool hobby. And they really do make some really cool scenes for those little arcades. Jason saying, Thor KC, not a bad idea either. I could set up some of mine downstairs in the office. What I can't see where he can't do with his larger arcades. Papa Brad's Gaming says Cubert and Centipede would have been a good choice for a New Wave Toys full size. They've done both before. Yeah, the Centipede would be a really good one. I know, you know, Glenn's got all these great controls. He's got the trackballs, and Centipede would benefit greatly. Even the Cubert, if he could make accurate controls for it. And what I'm picturing is a huge full-size multi-cade with a, you know, controls galore. You know, 2 spinners, 6-button layout, 2 joysticks, trackball, USB inputs for sending light gun, maybe even an attachment for a steering wheel. Kind of like everything he's doing with the iArcade. I think he's going to drive it more towards this because this is something that he and their company owns. You know, iArcade isn't a product that he owns. He's providing parts to the iArcade. This would be a better situation for his business, is to provide these parts for a product that he created. Thor KC says, I highly recommend the DC Batman 12-inch figures. You can usually find them for under $20, and they have enough articulation to sit on stools and sort of touch the controls. And Corey B 1980 says, I'm certain New Wave Toys aren't interested in doing a multi-cade. I don't even see them doing a full-size cabinet. They aren't in the home arcade business. They've only done 1/6 scale arcades. And I was thinking about that too, Corey, is if this is a 1/6 scale, what is it going to look like? And I was picturing today while I was walking my dog, I was like, you know, Glenn has those little bitty miniature trackballs in his Build-A-Cade now. He's got the new control panel for the Build-A-Cade. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they've got a 1/6 scale multi-cade that they're going to release with Glenn's controls. So that's the other side of the speculation, is it may be something similar, but in the smaller form. Goofy saying, all my New Wave toys all have arcade toppers. They've all got those. So that's cool. You got a nice setup there, Goofy Foot. Thor saying, Cubert, I think would be an ideal GRS New Wave Toys collab since it would only have 2 or 3 games on the ROM. Definitely think it will be, whatever they make, it's going to be amazing. I know that. And I know it's very close, and I know that they've been working on this for a very long time. So I can guarantee whatever it is, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be something that if you like New Wave Toys or you like Glenn's products, you're going to want to get. But this is coming up, guys. This is very close. Another thing on this, and something to kind of add to this whole speculation is, I know you guys have heard, if you guys watch the show regularly every week, that my plan was to ask Shiloh to come on as a guest. And I'd wanted him to come on last week, couldn't get him, but we got Glenn and we got Bill's Retro Show. But I did actually get a response towards the end of this week from Shiloh, and he has accepted this offer to come on as a special guest. His only thing is he wants to wait until this product releases, but with him and Glenn, so he can come on the show and talk to us about it. And he said it would be a few weeks, just like what we're hearing from Glenn. Could be days to weeks. I heard a few weeks from Shiloh. But he says as soon as that product releases, he's happy and wanting to come on the show to talk about it with us. So really looking forward to getting him on here and just asking the questions, getting a little bit more information on this, and also just talking, you know, home arcade in general. I'd like to pick his brain on all these products and what he thinks about them if we get the time. And James Hates Everything says they are making an Akari Warriors giant joystick. I thought about that too. With the Akari Warriors, you probably have that licensor, you know, maybe holding that back a little bit. And that was trying to remember who Akari Warriors was made by. Maybe you guys can tell me in the chat so I don't have to look it up. But that could be it too. It could be a cabinet with an Akari Warrior stick in it. That would be cool. Because we've only seen the standalone game pad that comes in the cardboard box. We haven't seen that actually installed or come from the factory with those sticks installed yet on like an arcade cabinet. So that would be something I would say is highly possible as well. Hollywood Polo says, Biggie D's Arcade, how was your weekend? What new games made it into the Biggie-cade this weekend? So I'm glad you asked, because I probably wasn't going to get into this subject tonight. At least I didn't have a segment for it. But I've been watching the Fallout TV show on Prime. Amazing TV show. Probably the best show that recreates a video game that I've ever seen. And I'm so addicted to the show, it got me back into playing Fallout again. I've been playing Fallout 76 on my PS5 this week. And I played Fallout 3, I'd played New Vegas, and I'd played 4, but I never gave 76 a chance because it had such a rough start right out the gate, and it was criticized on how bad the game was when it was first released. So I never gave it a chance, but I went back and played it this week. They've got a lot of DLC for it. They've really improved the game. There are periods where it is kind of a little bit boring and you're just kind of wandering around this world. But as soon as you get to the missions and the objectives and the dialogue, it starts becoming fun again. So it's kept me hooked, and we'll see how much longer I keep playing it. But I've been playing it every day for at least an hour or two. SNK, that's what it was. SNK. I couldn't remember right off my head there what that was. Appreciate you guys confirming that. Mike Hawkert says, sorry, I've been late for all the streams today. Good to see you, Mike Hawkert. So on other New Wave Toys, we do have some other New Wave Toys news this week. So if you guys remember, these were back at Cleveland again. These were back in September that they had announced these, but these charging cigarette machines, which are USB chargers, and they had the Cool, which looked like a real cigarette machine, and then they had the Artomat, which is kind of like it's not a cigarette machine. It just had other items in it that was that you could vend. So if you weren't into cigarettes, you would have that option. And for me, I used to smoke cigarettes when I was like a teenager in early 20s. So I probably wouldn't bring like a cigarette machine into my home because it may tempt me to pick up a cigarette again. I don't know. So the Artomat would probably be more up my alley. If I get one of these, it's going to be the Artomat, I think. But we got some good news, I guess good and bad news in regards to this. Good news is it is going to officially release, and they gave us a date now, June the 17th. However, if you guys feel like that was too far out and you've been waiting too long, just email them. They're going to give you a full refund, so not a big deal. Get your money back. Or you could just wait here a few more months and have your USB charging cigarette machine. And these are useful if you start collecting a lot of the 1/6 scale arcades. You're going to need power to those, and this is a great way to power them. Bonus feature also, they're kind of sweetening the deal a little bit for us. They're saying we're pleased to reveal that we'll be including a bonus set of aluminum legs that are anodized in a contrasting color to customize the look of your new USB machine. So that is going to look like this. They've made a few changes on it. They've added some logos, it looks like, above each of the cigarette options. So that is really cool. Individual cigarette brands for each pull that you make. I don't know if you can actually pull the handle out or not. Guess we'll find out. And then there's your new legs, your new set of legs. And then the Artomat, same thing. They've added a little bit to it and then given you that those new legs as well. Those are going to be blue on the Artomat. So if you guys are looking into these, they're not that expensive really. I think they're only about $70. And if you need something to charge your New Wave Toys, these are great. These are a great item to have. And it's nice to see them going to be releasing something here very soon, right after they released the Berserk and Frenzy. Jason saying, I really wish they could include a pack of candy cigarettes that are actually still sold on Old Time Candy's website. LOL. I remember those candy cigarettes. That would be awesome. They included those. Or they would be even better is like what they did with the Coke machine, have little miniature packs that drop out. But that could get really difficult, and then that would also raise that price. These wouldn't be $70. Thor KC saying, I'm looking forward to these new USB hubs, but I do kind of wish they were still making the charge machines. Oh yeah, the change machines were really cool. Those I wish they'd still made. And having a customizable lighted display would be nice too. Yeah, those would be great things to have on there, especially the light up marquee or the display would be great. But again, that's going to raise that price. These would be well over 100, maybe more, if they were to do those features. But I like what they're doing there. And then what's great is that I think what's even bigger and more exciting is this, is what's coming with Glenn here in a few weeks. So a lot of exciting stuff. We got 2 new products. We've got another one about to come, and then we've got the unannounced one, which is the big one, the one we're probably most interested in, potentially. going to be released here in just a few weeks or announced. So that's all really cool stuff from New Wave Toys. And I'm just really enjoying these things, you know, with the slowdown of Arcade1up and them releasing hardly anything anymore. It's been nice to find another avenue or another company to buy some of this stuff to get that same kind of feeling that I was getting with the Arcade1ups. And I'm going to continue to probably, like I said, probably buy these and buy them up when they release, because they're just a couple $100, maybe less. They don't take up much room. There's not much thought process behind getting one of these like there were with these larger ones. So next, guys, I want to get into this retro shooter news. So we had Retro Ralph on the show. It was about a month ago, but I had I always follow his channel, but he had released a very good video here a couple days ago on a retro shooter update. And I'd never purchased the retro shooter kit, and I'd never thought about getting it because I bought the Sinden. I went with the Sinden light gun. I got 2 of those, and you know, those were expensive. I think they were like 170, 180 bucks for just one. And I've had a lot of fun with the Sinden. The Sinden works really good with my iArcade. It plugs right into the front. However, I am having some tracking issues with the crosshair where it likes to bounce around a lot on the iArcade, even more so than I'm seeing on the PC or on the Retro Lizard build. So I'm a little bit disappointed in the Sinden light guns. Also, I've got the recoil in them, so they're heavy. And when you're holding that up, playing the game for, you know, hours, it gets really tiring to hold that up. I almost wish I would have just gone without the recoil, maybe made it lighter and more enjoyable for me, because I really don't use the recoil. I turn it off most of the time. It's really loud. So even though I invested all that money in those light guns and those Sinden light guns, they do have a use. They are convenient. They're plug and play. There's not much setup involved with those. But I was thinking, you know, what other light gun games can I get, or accessories can I get to continue to enjoy these even more? And I know GRS released that boomstick. And what interested me most about the boomstick was it was like a rifle style. It was a shotgun, so it had the place for your arm to fit in, and you held it with 2 hands. The stock would fit into your shoulder, and you would hold it with 2 hands. And I felt like that would be a little more comfortable to hold over an hour or 2 of playtime than holding the pistol up way up high. So but I didn't end up buying Glenn's boomstick. That's when I made the decision to get the Sinden light guns, is when I'd found out that Glenn's was going to cost like $250 or something like that. It was really high price. So I ended up just getting the Sinden light gun. But now that it's been a couple of months, retro shooter, I've always kind of been in the back of my head. But then I'd watched Retro Ralph's video and about this update that's coming. Well, supposedly they've really updated the retro shooter. Instead of having 2 sensors, you have 4 now. So the accuracy is much better. You have a sensor on each corner of the screen. Also, they have improved the guns themselves. You have like a new device that you put on the end of the gun to recognize where you're shooting at on the screen. And the sensor that they put in the gun has been improved as well. So they've made some really big strides on improving this system and the setup. So I was interested in what Retro Ralph had to say. And basically, he had demoed like a bunch of arcade games and a bunch of the modern shooting games, and everything ran really well and much better than it did before. And he was also very interested in finding out how this new setup worked, because he previously had the 2 sensors. Now he's got the 4 sensors. Also, something he wanted to try was not using the Pandora's box that comes with it, but downloading that software onto his PC, playing the games directly through his PC rather than using their included Pandora's box. He wanted to see how that improved. Well, everything looked way better, played way better on the PC with the 4 sensors. Essentially, bottom line, he sold me on this product in that video, and now I'm ready to go ahead and buy this setup. So I started doing a little bit of shopping this weekend, PD7's in the chat. He says 31 in the chat. Hit that like. Definitely hit that like button, guys. I'm showing 33 right now and 19 likes. You guys definitely hit that like button. And also tune in to PD7 tomorrow morning. He's got his walk and talk coming. So here is your buying, like purchasing, right? So you got to have the guns. You've got to have, you don't necessarily have to have the foot pedal, but you would want that. You do need this extension hub if you're going to use a PC. You don't have to have the Pandora's box. So you could go without that and just load all this software onto your computer and play it directly through your computer. Prices are $253, it looks like, for the one Pandora 10th family mainboard. And then the one Pandora 10th JAMA mainboard is also the same price. Don't know the difference between those. But I'm probably more interested in this setup because I'm going to use my PC. And this doesn't include the Pandora's box. Gives you one light gun, 4 infrared sensors, 1 extension hub, and 1 pedal for $184. Or you can pay about $50 more, a little less, and you can get 2 guns, 2 pedals, as opposed to 1. So this was great. I thought this setup looked good, and this might be the direction I would go, right? But then I started reading the description and all that of Retro Ralph's video, and I'd come across this. So this is the MX24. This thing is amazing, guys. This is like gonna blow your mind. This takes the little handgun that Retro Shooter was doing and makes this a completely different experience. A lot like what I wanted too. I wanted something that I could hold with 2 hands. I'd wanted, you know, something where the stock would sit into my shoulder while I played. But also this is more in line with what you would get at an actual arcade. So if you were to walk up to like an Aliens arcade, I'm trying to think of some of the other modern ones that are out there, like that have this style gun. But Alien is definitely the one that comes to mind for me. And these guns look amazing. I'm going to show you guys here. This is the description from the website right when you pull it up. The Retro Shooter dev team has built the first modern plug-and-play submachine gun based off a classic design, ready to plug and play directly into your PC gaming setup or to our Retro Shooter PB10th console. No setup required, exactly like our pistols. And I remember now there was a chat that came in earlier before I had started my stream, and the person had said that they had pre-ordered this already. They pre-ordered 2 of these, and please forgive me, I cannot remember the chat and who had said that, but I know they're a member, and I feel bad that I wasn't able to mention your name here on the chat. So if I see you in here, maybe it'll come back to mind. I'll bring it up. But there is someone that is a viewer of this channel that has already pre-ordered 2 of these prior to me talking about them tonight. I've heard some others in the community talk about this as well, but it didn't really make it interesting enough for me until I'd watched Retro Ralph's video and heard about the 4 sensors. The fact that I could now plug this into a PC. I don't need the Pandora's box anymore. And then the upgraded sensors and all that. That sold me. And then when I saw this, I was like, oh man, now I'm blown away. I've got to get one of these. But then I was thinking, well, what about price and all these other factors? So, okay, it was Damian Williams. That's who it was. I could not remember off the top of my head. But it was Damian Williams. He says Retro Shooters got new guns as well. I think it was you, Damian, that had pre-ordered too. And the chat just went away, so I couldn't bring it up anymore. Giovanni says, I don't know when we'll discuss 1UP, but I got something to show Biggie D that may blow his mind when I super chat him once we cross the 1UP bridge. Okay, we are going to talk 1UP, and that's actually up next. So hang with me for probably 10, 15 minutes, maybe less. We'll get into Arcade1up. Jason is putting the link for the pre-order, and that is important, guys. if you're interested in this, you got to move quick. I think the pre-orders end here very soon, like in like 4 or 5 days. So it's going to have to be a quick decision for me and anyone else that's considering. Let's watch this video.
Here is the Retro Shooter MX24. This is a compact submachine gun, and it is sweet. We put our internals into it, and we added a couple of features that some of you will probably really like. We added an extra button for PC users. It can be pressed and held for an exit, and it can be programmed for another button if you'd like. It's also got our rocket launcher down here, or your bomb button, and we added a D-pad to the front of it. So the D-pad won't be this color, but we wanted it to stand out so you could see. So you can use this to navigate through the menus on our console, on the Pandora 10th consoles, and on a PC. We've also got it set so that you can change from player 1, 2, 3, or player 4. So there are some extra features on here. We have added our orange tip to the end so you can screw on a lens if need be, the wide angle lens. And the internals of this gun, I think a lot of people are really gonna love. So we kept the solenoid, which is tucked in back behind here, and there's a steel rod that runs through that actually activates the butt of the gun. So when you pull the trigger, it does kick back into your shoulder. It is so much fun to use. You can, of course, switch from fully auto to semi-auto very easily. And this button also is on the other side of the gun as well.
So I thought that was interesting about the part where he had said that the D-pad was on the front there. I thought that was an interesting choice of where to put the D-pad, but now that I think about it, it's kind of good because it's out of the way of where you're going to be holding this, and you can kind of reach up towards the front to navigate. So I like that. It's also got the bomb or the secondary shoot button there on the second handle. You've got the automatic, and you have the single shot right there on the back. I mean, this is just a very well made, very thought out design. And like I said, it reminds me a lot of like the Alien Armageddon arcade guns. That's what it looks like. And those things range in like $500-600 a gun. So if this could be 200, 250, you know, it would probably be a low enough price to sell me on this. So let's look here. So this is a graphic that they had posted on the website. So that if you were to use the Retro Shooter console or the Pandora's Box 10th, and you have to have the 10th in order for this to work with it, this is how the button layout would look. But I'm more interested in this graphic. This is the PC users. This is how I would be playing it. And I would want to be playing a lot of the more modern, like I'm with the Sin guns, I'm playing more of the retro shooters. With this, I would want to be playing more of the modern shooters. And this would encourage me or give me enough motivation to get into that Techno Parrot and try to figure all that out. Maybe even purchase another gaming PC to just have a really nice light gun setup like what Retro Ralph has in that video. But this is the stock of it, and you guys can see it's got some feedback to it. It's got, when you're hitting the trigger, it's kicking back, just like, not a lot, not like a real gun would, but it is going to give you some feeling there and give you some experience of like you're really shooting a real gun in that game. But you guys can see the components and the parts within this. This is a heavy duty setup here. This isn't just some cheap plastic light gun that they've actually put a lot of time and effort into the production and the design of these. So yes, and Jason confirmed this for us in an earlier chat, but it was April the 25th. So guys, today is the 21st. So here in 4 days, you're going to have major decision. Now, are they going to produce these again after the 25th? You know, for sale on the website? Yes, I think eventually they will. But right now, they're just saying pre-order phase right now. Once these are sold, that's it. There's no for sure fact that they're going to keep making these after that pre-order. So if you're interested, I would definitely go ahead and pre-order now. Also, you're getting a lower price too. If you guys look at these prices, so the Retro Shooter MX24 is $197.97 during the pre-order. But if you were to wait, what does that price say? Is that $239.97? So it goes up quite a bit there if you were to wait. JJ's here. He's saying, hey, Biggie D, watching, showing us a light gun. Yes, so this is the new MX24 Retro Shooter light gun kit that they're going to be selling. It's in the pre-order phase right now. We have till Thursday, the 25th, to pre-order this. So if you wanted 2 guns, it's $315. Not bad. You're, $115. You're getting your second one. I like that price. Now this is a different setup here. The Retro Shooter MX24 Arcade. This is the same exact gun. It just has a protective thing that goes over the wire and the cord that you run to the arcade. There's a protective case around that cord. Similar to what you would see in an actual arcade, because what they're doing is they are setting this up to not just sell it to us, the home arcade fans or the home arcade community that like this kind of stuff in our home. They're also setting this product up to be sold in real arcades. So if you were to walk into a barcade or a real, arcade, I wouldn't say a Dave & Buster's because they don't have these custom arcade setups at Dave & Buster's, but maybe like your local arcade or a family-owned arcade may have a custom setup, and they may purchase this, and you may see this in a commercial environment, potentially. And that's what these are set for. The arcade versions are for that purpose, and that they raise the price $15 for that. But they say in the fine print, if you are going to be using this at home, do not buy the arcade one. You do not need that protective casing over the cord at home. It's just too heavy duty for home use. Tony C says he's ordered the 315 set. Okay. Now, can you tell us, Tony C, what was the shipping? Because I saw Addicted to Arcade1up had said, wait until you learn about the shipping on the Retro Shooter. It is expensive. So maybe, Tony, you can tell us, give us an idea. I know it's different for every state and where it's going, but maybe you can give us an idea of what it cost. Andy's Game Room says that kickback feature is slick. Yeah, it looks great. I'm very impressed with everything I've seen so far with this. So if you guys follow the link that Jason put in the chat for you guys, it's going to take you to this website. This is where you can pre-order. He's got a good video here to watch to kind of show it off. And then if you were looking for those graphics I'd showed, they're going to be right here on the website. And here's where you can purchase it. Now, one thing I'd ran into, and I had to message Retro Ralph today about it before the show because I needed to get some clarification. So let's say I buy this setup, right, for $215, or what is the price right now? $197. Not bad, right, for all this. But you are missing a couple things. You're missing the pedal, which I don't necessarily think you're going to have because you're going to have the extra buttons on the gun that you could use. But one thing you are missing are the sensors. So the sensors you will have to have. And when you go to purchase this on the website, it's going to tell you that you need the sensors and to add the sensors to your order. But there's no way to add them on this website. You would literally have to go and purchase their Retro Shooter kit, which are those plastic colored handguns. You would have to buy those in order to get the infrared sensors that you need, because they're not selling the sensors standalone anymore, I've learned. So I've got you guys covered on that. Thanks to Retro Ralph, he had provided me with this information, and it was very helpful. So let's get that pulled up. And here it is, guys. Buy Stuff Arcades actually makes a Retro Shooter 4IR kit that has the 4 sensors. He says that, in fact, these actually work better than the Retro Shooter ones that they provide. So, and look at the price, $25. So for $225, I can get everything I need. That's about what the Sinnen light gun cost. So I think this is pretty much right now a no-brainer for me. I can't see myself backing out of this now. I gotta get it. So I wanted to share that with you guys today because I just thought this is such a cool product for the home arcade community. And I'm sure you guys are going to be hearing a lot about this here in the next few weeks. So I kind of wanted to get a head start on that and kind of give you guys an introduction to what this is if you guys didn't know what it was yet. Giovanni says, holy, Addicted Arcade1up says to ship a Retro Shooter kit to Nebraska, it would cost him $100. So $200 plus $100 shipping plus $25 sensors, $325 still isn't looking too bad. It is a little higher than I would want it to be. And if it's $100 shipping for me, I may not pull the trigger. I'll have to let you guys know on that. I'll have to see the whole final price and look at my credit card statement and all that stuff before I actually pull the trigger. But $100 shipping may deter me. You know, if it was $50 shipping, $25 shipping, that seems a little more reasonable. I don't think these are that heavy. They probably do require a bigger box though, because it looks like that stock does come off, but I don't know for a fact that it does. So it may come in a pretty sizable box. Jason's also saying they also have bezels available with the 4 built-in sensors. Yeah, so that's another good thing is if you guys don't like the look of the sensors sitting on the outside of your screen, you can buy from Buy Stuff Arcades like an actual bezel that has the sensors built in where you can't see them. So that may be a better option for you guys if you don't like the look of this. It wouldn't bother me too much. I'd probably just remove them or, just stick them on there when I'm playing. But if you guys like the sleek look of it being in the bezel, they have that option. So now we want to get into, Andy's Game Room says $100 shipping is pretty high. Tony C says shipping was, drumroll, $94. So we're probably looking at a $90 to $100 price point for shipping. I don't think that's a deal killer for me. I'm not going to probably not buy it because of that, but it definitely isn't sounding as sweet as it was until I knew about that. So let's talk about Arcade1up. I know we had a lot of people wanting to hear about Arcade1up tonight, especially Giovanni. He's going to blow our mind tonight with our Arcade1up news. So there's really just 2 things to talk about. I know there's some other news out there in Arcade1up we've heard this week, and I'm going to touch on that, but it's going to be a very quick point in which I talk about that part. But there are 2 subjects that are related to Arcade1up, news related, that are big, especially for people that don't own these cabinets or have wanted a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or have wanted a Golden Tee and they just never had bought one. Maybe they just got introduced to Arcade1up and they're just starting their collection. You know, this is a good time to get these cabinets. So let's take a look at them. This is a short I made. All right, so the theme of that short, a lot of it is this diamond plate control panel, because one of the biggest sticking points and probably one of the most talked about complaints of the previous Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was the fact that it had that concrete graphite look to the game deck, that art on the game deck. And that is something you think of when you think of Street Fighter. It's very common on the Street Fighter cabinets, but it's very, I wouldn't say you don't see it, but it's very uncommon to see it on the Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Normally you see the diamond plate. So that was something that Arcade1up listened to on this one, is that they, and you saw it in that short of what it looks like. It's a little bit darker, looking diamond plate than we saw on the X-Men versus Street Fighter. And it looks good. I like what they've done with that. Now, the rest of the cabinet, we've talked about this for several weeks now leading up to this release, because this is releasing on the 25th. So like I said, this is a busy week. We've got the Retro Shooter pre-orders. We've got the new Wave Toys GRS potential announcement coming up in the next week or two. We've also got this cabinet as well releasing this week on Thursday. It was an Amazon pre-order, and it will officially release this coming Thursday on Amazon. And there it is, Giovanni, $20. That is huge, Giovanni. I cannot thank you enough for that super chat. He says, Arcade1up still hasn't released a rhythm game, so me being a maniac, and I did it myself, I'm working on a brand new prototype that has never been used on an Arcade1up before. The video is uploaded as DMX prototype on an Arcade1up. So the video is already uploaded, Giovanni is saying. So if you guys search DMX prototype Arcade1up, it should come up. I'll definitely check this video out after the stream, and I will definitely try and comment on this next stream or next opportunity I get. But that is very cool, and you're correct on that. A rhythm game, absolutely. I've been saying for years now, since I started this channel, that I thought we needed a Guitar Hero cabinet. That Guitar Hero was a solid, easy pick for them to make next. That Guitar Hero, for years had a dominance in video games, and then it just tailed off, and we really haven't seen it much lately. But I see a resurgence coming back, especially if they could make a home arcade version of it. But then thinking of other rhythm games too, or like the Dance Dance Revolution games, which when I go to the game expos or the arcade expos, I notice, even though I'm not a huge fan of those games because I'm not very good at them, I don't have much rhythm to dance, they are extremely popular, and people will dump a ton of money into those games and play them. And I saw some really amazing looking new technology ones at the Game On Expo here in Phoenix just a few weeks ago. They are really making some really cool stuff. So I think you're hit the head on the nail there. And I think you're 100% correct. I think a rhythm game is needed. I think it would be an easy one for them to make. I don't think that these licensors, Guitar Hero, Dance Dance Revolution, I think they would want to see a home arcade version of their games. So especially now that we really don't buy those types of games for consoles much anymore like we used to. So I definitely see that. I'm definitely going to check out your video for sure. And I appreciate the $20, Giovanni. Tony C says X-Men versus Street Fighter PCB would also make more sense. Oh, also Giovanni, I've got super chat videos. I want to run you one real quick. Let's run that. All right, I am back, guys. Let me find out where we are at. Okay, we're right here. Pause that. All right. Tony C is saying X-Men versus Street Fighter PCB would have made more sense. Yeah, you're right. It would. But that one only had 5 or 4 games on it, where this one's going to have 8. But I see what you're saying. You would want an X-Men game to show up first when you load up the arcade. Where if they're going to go with the PCB that came with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which that's what everyone's thinking it's going to be, is the exact same PCB, exact same games list, in the same order as the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cabinet. But what they really should do is sink in just a small amount of development cost in this cabinet and put an X-Men game at the top, at least. So when you turn it on, that's the first game you see, whether that be X-Men versus Street Fighter or whatever. You know, I guess that would be the only one, because you don't want to put like that Mutant Apocalypse at the top. So yeah, I'm definitely with you on that, Tony C. Stevie V's here. He's saying, sorry I'm late. And Jason put in the link for Giovanni's video. You guys go check that out. Thank you, Jason, for putting that in there. And he says, oh yeah, the Step Mania X dance game is blowing up in the arcade scene for dance games. Yeah, that's what I saw at the Game Expo. People crowded around those. People dancing like maniacs and having a really good time. And yeah, you got the panda. That's probably my best super chat video right now. I need to dedicate more time to making those. I just never sit down and do that. But I know like K-Fox, he's got the best ones. So this is the specs. This was sent out in an email. It was about 5 weeks ago. So you guys have definitely probably seen this. Online multiplayer, molded coin door, no lit up coin door, unfortunately. Dual speakers for dynamic sound. They said crisp sound. Now they're saying dynamic. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that equals or turns into like better speakers because they're saying that. I don't know. I wouldn't count on it. 17-inch BOE color monitor, 5 feet tall, 8 arcade games. Now, to the point of Tony C, X-Men vs. Street Fighter is the first game on that list. And you see Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is way down there towards one of the last logos. So we may be on to something tonight, Tony and I, with that discussion. So we'll have to wait and see, and we won't have to wait long because Thursday this product is releasing. JJ says, Biggie D's Arcade, do you have any thoughts on the new Evercade EXP? It looks cool, but they've dropped HDMI out, and the 15 or so Capcom games no longer come with it. And we're going to get into that new Evercade tonight. We're at 1 hour now, so I probably need to move this along so we can get into these other subjects. So Golden T, let's take a look at this. This is the XL video because they don't have the light. All right, so guys, that was a XL video because they did not make a deluxe video, a promotional video for this product. It's essentially the same thing. It looks almost identical, except it's a little bit smaller size. Also, it's got the Arcade1up logo above the coin door. I think the coin door is a little lower on the deluxe. Also, you get a couple additional logos in the marquee there you can see on the right side. But other than that, it's pretty much identical. Now, one sticking point and something that I think we talked about with Bill's Retro Show last Sunday was the conflicting information that we were getting. That there was a promotional email that went out that had showed the 8 games that came with it, and it wasn't these 8 games. There was the Shuffle Shot was missing out of that games list. So we don't know yet because we don't get any communication from Arcade1up. We don't get any communication from Travis anymore. We do not know what the actual games list is. Is it this games list or is it this games list? And the difference would be you would get the original Golden Tee with the deluxe, whereas you would get Shuffle Shot with the XL. And Shuffle Shot's not a game I've played. I have been playing the World Class Bowling this week because I was interested. I've been hearing a lot of good things about that game. So I've been playing it on my AtGames Legends Ultimate. Actually, the World Class Bowling is a really fun game. But you don't have to buy this cabinet to play that. You could buy an AtGames and play it on there. Or you could get an iArcade with Glenn's control panel and play it on there. But there is something to say about having a dedicated cabinet and having the artwork. We were looking at the game deck with T. McCloskey last night on his channel, and to have those numbers around the trackball and to have that grass on the game deck, it just adds to the experience. So I do see the appeal, and am I going to run out and buy this? Probably not, but I think there's going to be a lot of people that do, especially if you have not owned a Golden Tee yet. I do think there's a few things, though, you may want to hold back a little bit and hang on to your money a little bit longer, because you want to see, did they improve the trackball, and you want to see what the actual games list is. If you were wanting Shuffle Shot, wait, because we don't know if it comes with that yet. And Bill's theory on this was it is a 35th anniversary. So they're honoring the 35 years that Golden Tee has been around. So that would make sense that they would put the original Golden Tee in there, but that also doesn't make sense because that would incur more development costs. So not quite sure what the answer is on this, but we should find out very soon, because this is set to release on May the 9th. So here in just about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks from now. So it's not long. This is a Best Buy exclusive for the pre-order, but I think this will be available on multiple websites once it releases. And you may or may not be able to get a deal on it because there's other Golden Tees already out there. And there may or may not be improvements on this one. You would want to see a better Trek ball. You would want to know the games list. And but the BOE, if you were unhappy with that, I know I was very unhappy with that TN monitor on the XL. This is going to be the one you want if you aren't interested in replacing screens. Also, for me, I'm not an XL buyer. I'm in an apartment, so the Deluxe is a better form factor size for me. So you guys may or may not be interested in this one. But it is a new release from Arcade1up. It's a re-release of a new cabinet. John Phillips says, World Class Bowling is the best game on there, in my opinion. Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it, John. I'm getting better at it, and it's a quick game. You can play real fast. So if I only have 5 or 10 minutes, I'll hop on there and play a game of bowling. I wish it had online, though, where you could play against each other. I think that would be a lot of fun. And to that point, that's really what they should have done with the Deluxe, is if they were going to incur development costs, was to add online gameplay where we could play each other. Now that's you open that door, that's a whole nother deal. That's a lot of development. That's a lot of money to invest in that, because you're really recreating the game at that point. But for them to be able to do that and work side by side, with Golden Tee to get that done, I think that would be amazing to have the online play for us to be able to play against a full round of golf against each other. I think that's where it's at. If you want people to run out and buy your Golden Tee cabinet, that's what you got to figure out, is how can you, in this lower cost, smaller cabinet, make it online playable like the modern day Golden Tee games are. JJ, they did that with Blitz. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they couldn't do it with Golden Tee. But we saw how Blitz went, so they're probably very reluctant to go down that road again. JJ says, if I could sell my OG Golden Tee for, say, $250, I'd get this new one, as it does have a few extra games, including bowling and shuffleboard or shuffle shot. I've not played that one, but the bowling I can vouch for. It's a great game. And then the original Golden Tee, I heard the trackball was pretty good on that one. Have they improved the trackball on this, or is it the XL trackball? Because you may not want to upgrade if that's the case, unless you have a plan to upgrade that trackball. And we've learned from Glenn. Glenn doesn't have a replacement for this, so you'd have to go somewhere else. And then some other facts on this is the original Golden Tee was the very first Arcade1up with a marquee, with a lit up marquee. And it was also the first Arcade1up with the matching riser, with the artwork on the riser. So just a couple of fun facts on Golden Tee and Arcade1up. Kev Grit says Golden Tee never had online play. It never did. But you can say, Kev Grit, the new ones do. The modern day Golden Tees do. So could they work with Golden Tee to develop that with Arcade1up? I don't know. They did it with Blitz, so it's possible. But could it happen, or will it happen? We don't know. Danny Johnston, it's definitely not happening on this cabinet. Says, I don't think I would buy Golden Tee, but I did enter the contest to win one. So yeah, I'm glad that you brought the contest up, because I was promoting that on my community post. I'd also made a short this week about it. We have plenty of time to enter into that, guys. We have till June the 30th. So no rush to run out and enter into that contest. But go check out my short. Check out my community post. I have a link to it. And you guys can enter into that. They're giving away 100 Golden TXL cabinets valued at $700. So a lot of prizes going out. And they're all Arcade1up cabinets. So if you're a fan of these, definitely enter in. I think most people have already. Kevgret says Golden Tee has an invite system where each person plays independently and keeps the score that way. Okay, so when I see you guys streaming your real Golden Tee pedestals, you guys aren't actually playing against each other at that time. You're just playing your score, and then you're comparing your scores. You're not actually like multiplayer golf. Okay. That makes more sense. I wouldn't have the money to buy a real Golden Tee, so I wouldn't know on that. And I'm glad Kevgret was here to clarify that for us on how that works. That would, with that new information, would make it probably less likely that Arcade1up could achieve a multiplayer experience then, but still possible. Ray D. Latore says, I'll wait to buy it. I'm sure there's going to be a sale on this in the future. And yeah, so they don't have the online. You've clarified it. They don't have the online. They do have an invite system where you can play independently and you can compete that way. Got it. Hollywood Polo, talking to Kevgret, how was your night? What did you have for supper? Always asking us what we had to eat. I love Hollywood's questions. Arcade Talking Star Wars Reviews is here. Hey, Biggie D. I was on his show last night. Hello, everyone. Good to see you in the chat. Kevgret's following up. We are streaming our invites and looks like we are playing live. Okay, so that's where I got it confused. It looked like you guys were playing together, but in fact, you're just competing with your scores. Got it. Okay. Makes a lot more sense now. Jason's great. He's given us all the links tonight, providing us everything we need to get to these websites and these places. Don't forget to enter into the Smirnoff Golden Tee giveaway. And there's the link. And you could say Golden Tee, T-E-A, or Golden Tee, T-E-E. It's kind of a cool promotion, and it was a good idea, actually, what they did. If you work in marketing, you would see that that was a good move. And it's worked. I mean, we've been talking about it, and I'm sure there's tons of people that have entered into this. So the last thing I want to talk about, and this isn't really news, guys. I literally don't even really want to spend much time talking about this, but I'm going to because it was an email, and it was sent out by Arcade1up this week. But they partnered with TaskRabbit. Hire a tasker to assemble your Arcade1up machine, and if you want to get $10 off that assembly, you can use a promo code Arcade1up10, and you can do this in Canada or the US. It's kind of like DoorDash, but it's they come to your home and they build stuff for you, and they do stuff around your house. If you're unable to build something or fix something, they'll come by and do that for you. Just kind of like a handyman service, and it works kind of like DoorDash, where you can add yourself to the app and it'll send you to people's places to do this work. So that's about all I got to say on that. So let's talk next, guys. Let's just look at the Arcade1up website real quickly before we move on, because I just want to see here if anything's changed. I don't think it has. We're still looking at the 25th for X-Men 97. Special pre-order price. So then now they're saying this is a special pre-order price at $4.99. And I know we've heard PD7 talk about this, about the possibility of them raising the price after the pre-order. I think that's becoming more likely now that we see they're calling this a special pre-order price. So in the first Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was $5.99. This is the riserless version. Those typically go $4.99, but they may try to tack on an extra $100 after Thursday. So just be prepared for that possibility. And then the only other one is the Golden Tee that we just talked about. This is going to be May the 9th. It's available through Best Buy. And I'm not seeing any other new information today on the website regarding this. So we still have that shuffle shot confusion. And then other than that, someone commented on my short, my Marvel vs. Capcom 2 short I showed you guys earlier. And he said, why would I pre-order the X-Men 97 for $4.99 and not get the stool with it? So, you know, some people are thinking, well, if I'm going to do this, I want the stool also. Well, unfortunately, the stool is out of stock. And it looks like it's going to be out of stock at the launch of the cabinet. So if you're wanting to get the full setup, it's going to be unavailable when the cabinet releases. So that's a sticking point for some people out there if you were wanting to get the full package with the matching stool. So that's about it on Arcade1up, guys. I'm going to go ahead and move on to this Evercade EXP-R. So I've never owned a Evercade before, but I've been interested in them. I actually was shopping the previous EXP, the Capcom one that was white. There were a couple of things why I didn't buy that. One was the Capcom games were not on a cartridge. They were saved locally on the handheld, or saved to the handheld, I should say. I didn't like that. And then I also was not a fan of the price at $150. I thought $150 was a little bit high for what you were getting. Even though it had HDMI out, I did like the fact that I could plug it into the TV. I just felt like $150 was a little high, and I didn't like that it didn't have a cart for the Capcom games, because that was kind of the reason I was interested in these, was because I like collecting the games and the cartridges. That's what I like about my Nintendo handhelds, and why I won't hack those, is I like putting the cart in and playing it that way. So that's what's my appeal to the Evercade EXP-R that was announced this week. And also something else about the EXP on the previous model is it came in white. There was like a special edition that came in black, but the one that was readily available was the white one. And the white one I don't like because, you know, your hands are dirty. That dirt and grime is going to show much easier on the white. So I like a black handheld or a dark colored handheld. I have a yellow Switch Lite, and that's probably one of the only things I don't like about it is yellow, and it does show a lot of that dirt and stuff, and you have to clean it a lot, and I don't like that. I would rather it just be black and you just don't see it even though it's there. So this was nice. I really like this announcement because they went with the darker color. It's not black, it's this gray, but I do like it, and it looks really good. And it's dark enough. It's got the dark black buttons on the handheld too, whereas the Switch has those like white buttons, which I didn't like. So this is all looking really good. And they lowered the price down to $100. So now they're in the price range that I thought it should have been at. It is losing something very important though. It is losing that HDMI out. So I won't be able to play it on the TV. And I'm thinking though, you know, I probably wouldn't play it that often on the TV. So it would have been nice to have the feature, but I probably wouldn't have used it that much. So saving $50 for a feature I probably wouldn't have used that often sounds like a good trade-off to me. So this is definitely a great little toy to get, $100. And what's nice about it is it plays the retro arcade titles. So a lot of the games we grew up playing, a lot of the ones that I'm going to want to buy on this are ones that I used to play on my PC, because a lot of these games wouldn't run very well on consoles back then. You would really have to have a PC to play a lot of these games like Duke Nukem, and for them to look good and play good. So it'll be interesting to go back and relive those games in a handheld form like this. So this is great. I'm super excited about this. Also, I've been hearing a lot of other people in the community talking about it. So it's fun to go on these streams and discuss this and see what we're going to think about it when it comes out. Jason's saying, no idea. Guess we'll need a stool sample. Jason says, between the two handhelds, the current model is best with HDMI. Kevgret says, Evercade cheaped out. These revisions are not needed. Jason's saying they should have just added a dark model option. I understand wanting to hit the $99 mark, though, I guess the Tomb Raider will be a lot less expensive than including the games from Capcom or whatever. And then Kevgret says you lose the HDMI and Capcom games on the EXP. They better lower the price. So they lowered the price by about 33%. And you lose a collection of games from Capcom. You lose that HDMI. I don't think it's that bad of a trade-off, and I would much rather have the lower price, personally. Now, this is really cool. This was also announced this week as well. Pre-order is going to become available here in 9 days, but they are now going to release the Tomb Raider collection. This is the collection 1, so you get 1, 2, and 3, which is great because I've only played 1, played that on my computer. 2 and 3, I've never played. So this is a nice little collection to get. Go back, play the first one, refresh my memory on how these games play, and then get into 2 games that I've never played before, but always had wanted to. And these are also a larger cartridge. It's called I don't know if this is the Giga Cart, but they're coming out, I think it may be, but it's a bigger cart for bigger games, more modern games than we've been seeing from them in the past. So Tomb Raider is just the start of that. You guys can imagine what other games could be coming in the future as well that could utilize that Giga Cart. You know, just thinking about games like Duke Nukem that I used to play growing up as a kid on my parents' computer. And there were some other ones out there that I really liked growing up. There was one called Shadow Warrior. I don't know if you guys remember that one. Serious Sam. There was just some really cool like first-person shooter games that only ran on PC back in the day that they could bring to this. Quake. You know, just trying to throw out some ideas there. Deus Ex. You know, there's just a lot of games like that we were playing. I was playing in like my early teenage years at like 12, 13 years old that they could be releasing on this Evercade. Talk about nostalgia. They've definitely hit the nostalgia mark with these games and this system, I think. That's why people are buying these, because we could literally play a lot of these games on almost any hacked console. You know, I have an Ambernick. I could play a lot of this stuff on there. So why go out and spend your hard-earned money on this? And it's the nostalgia, the putting the cartridge in there, playing a you know, real paid-for game that where the people are getting credit for it. It's just it's the whole experience. And I just don't get that experience from the games that aren't that you don't get that way. You know, I can't tell you guys how to get those games, but you guys can probably imagine. You're not getting them through a company, you know, and they're not getting credit for those games like they should. So let's take a look here at Tomb Raider. They did release a short promotional video for it, so let's just take a look at that. So there it is, guys, $24.99 for the game. But if you want to get this new collection with the system, you're looking at $99.99. So essentially, you're only paying $75 for the console or the handheld. So not bad, guys. I mean, these are pretty low prices. If you guys think about the PlayStation Classic, what was it? The SNES Classic, NES Classic, the Sega Minis. You know, this price they're now at that price mark of less than 100, where you can just kind of impulse buy this stuff and there's not much thought about it and you don't feel like you're getting ripped off buying something you don't need, you know, because a lot of this stuff we don't have to have. We're just buying it because we want it. And when it comes in at less than $100, it makes it a little easier. Jason, they have Turok yet. Yeah, Turok would be a good one. Throwing out some ideas there, guys. Turok. Night Trap. He remembers Serious Sam. That was a good one. That Shadow Warrior. I'll never forget that one. If you guys remember that one, that was a really good one around that time. That game came out in '97. 3D Realms was the company that was developing these games, but there was a bunch of others too, and I was buying them up when I was growing up around that age and playing them on my PC. Now, Far Cry. Remember when Far Cry came out? It was like, can your PC run Far Cry? That game came out originally. What year did that come out? 2004. So could they get, I don't think they can get that far, but they can definitely hit all like the late 90s games with the hardware that they currently have. Now, what's going to happen, it looks like here in a few months, they're going to announce something new, and that could be better hardware. Maybe that's why they stripped this one down, took away a couple of features in order to release this at a lower price point, because they're about to release something bigger, better here in the near future. That's just a little bit of speculation, but I wouldn't be surprised to see like a $200 type version of this come out with better hardware that plays, early 2000s, late 2000s types games like that Far Cry and other early 2000s PC games. But they got a huge collection to choose from right now on this current version. Ray De La Torre says, I had a Sega Saturn. I did not have a Sega Saturn. I had rented one, though, from the local video game store, and I had it for about a week. But I did get the Dreamcast when it released, like the month it released. And man, was I blown away by the Dreamcast when it came out. That was in 2000 or 2001, I think it was. Man, and I got Soul Calibur with it. That system blew me away. All right, so last, guys, I want to talk about AtGames. And specifically what I want to talk about AtGames, because we've been talking a lot, over the course of months now, this pinball lineup. We talked about the Attack from Mars, the Star Trek, all that, right? But I don't want to talk about those tonight. And what I want to talk about is this sale that's coming up on the 26th through the 29th. So this is going to start on Friday. It's going to run through Sunday. And that's what I want to focus on. But right before we get into the calendar that shows that, let's take a look at this. This is AtGames Legends 4K Pinball Net for AtGames Legends 4K devices. We've touched on this a couple weeks ago. It was supposed to be released. We see here a soft launch on April 16th. They did not make that date. But I was speaking and discussing this with T. McCloskey last night on his channel, and he was speculating possibly this may happen towards the end of this week. So this is right around the corner, this new pinball net. Basically, it offers you the ability to download all the pinball games, or most of them, for a monthly service fee. However, they're offering it for free for the first 3 months to all the 4K pinball customers. So you'll get this for free for the first 3 months whenever it releases, and that could come as soon as this week. And how we know that it was on this calendar, and we see the soft launch was on the 16th, so we're probably now looking more like a week later, hopefully Tuesday the 23rd. We get that actually released and available on the platform, and you guys can start playing whatever pinball games you want, all of them. Trying out the ones you may possibly want to buy, or maybe determining, should I extend this service past its free period? You have 90 days to figure that out. But what it really caught my eye, because I don't own a 4KP pinball yet, but I'm super interested in getting one. So close to getting one. I'm going to do a PayPal finance. I'm going to finance it, stretch it out over a year if I can, just pay payments on it, pay it off. But one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to run out and pay full price. You guys know me. I don't pay full price for anything home arcade. Definitely don't want to do it on this at $1,500. So the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, those 4 days, they're promoting Legends HD and Legends 4K April sale. So what could that be? Could that be potentially money off their 4KP pinball tables? And that's my hope. We've seen them do $100 off recently. Could they give us 200 or 300? That would be enough to make me get this pinball machine. I would feel confident that I bought in at a decent period or a good time to get in on it if they would just offer me a couple $100 off that 1,500. So let's take a look here at what this possibly could be for the sale. So you got $14.99 on all your pinball machines. Could these come in at $13.99 with free shipping, or could they come in at $12.99 with $100 shipping? That would be enough to make me buy one of these pinball machines. And I've told you guys I would go for the Star Trek, but if they're just running that promotion on the Adams Family, I may just do the Adams Family. Like if I could get Adams Family at $12.99 with $100 shipping or $13.99 with free shipping, I would do it. Even though I like the Attack from Mars more, I like the Star Trek more, I like the Peanuts more, the money off is what I want. So hopefully we'll get that at least on the Adams Family, being that that's just their standard edition. Now, what else could be on there, in that sale? Gigi's here. He says, "Hi, Biggie. Any information on the My Arcade tabletop large-scale Atari when it's getting released?" So I haven't been talking about that much the last few weeks, Gigi, because there really hasn't been any news on it. I know when they went to CES with those products, they were still in the prototype phase, and we haven't heard anything. I think all that's been held off till the end, Q4 of this year. So we may get trickle in some information along the way. We haven't gotten any yet, but as soon as I hear something, I'll definitely let you guys know, because I was very interested in what My Arcade was doing with those, as well as the handhelds and all the new things that they could be bringing us this year. So haven't heard anything, but as soon as I do, I will let you know. Ray D. Latore says, "I can't wait for a Star Trek Next Generation." I think a lot of people, that was, their sticking point is they love the Star Trek. They just want a Williams artwork, which would be the Next Generation table. I get that. But this has grown on me. This artwork has grown on me a lot over these last few weeks. And just, some other things that could be on sale. They always put the control panel on sale, so I'll probably look at that at like $150, $200 coming up. These pinball packs, I would expect $5 off, maybe $10 off. These, like the Dr. Seuss, the Dinosaur Dynasty, those would be 10 off. But maybe like these Zen ones, you get 5 off, is a good guess. So Zen, $5 off those packs. All the others, $10 off is my prediction. The control panel, definitely going to be a deal on that, I imagine. As far as the HD, I think all your HD stuff's going to have huge deals on it. As they begin to start to phase this stuff out, I know they said that they're going to continue to support and produce this stuff, but there is going to be a time where they start to phase this stuff out. And I think these cells, especially, they're going to discount this stuff as time goes on. But on the 4K side, that's the most exciting stuff to see that they're going to be doing deals on this. SSF kit, I would expect a deal on it. Maybe $100 off that. Just now seeing these Legends magnetic cup holders, those are pretty cool. Definitely something you probably want to get. May get a deal on it, like $5 off. I heard T. McCloskey during our discussion last night talking about having a protective pad to put on the screen, on the glass, to protect it, dust cover. I think AtGames definitely should be making those dust covers. So that fit perfectly on their pinballs. But that's exciting stuff, guys, the sale coming up, because we don't know yet what the deals are going to be. And a lot of us out there have not bought our 4KP pinballs yet. So, or if you've already bought yours, you're wanting to collect and, start building your collection of pinball tables, you're going to probably have the opportunity to get a bunch of those pinball packs for a lot less coming up this weekend. So, Arcade1up is definitely slowing down. They're definitely just re-releasing the same cabinets this year. But what's really nice to see is AtGames doing all this, making it really exciting for us. Also, new Wave Toys and everything that they're doing. This new retro shooter stuff and what they're doing with that. I mean, and then this Evercade. There's just a lot of good stuff going on right now in this community and stuff that we, like-minded arcade enthusiasts, are interested in. We got plenty of stuff to talk about, plenty of stuff to enjoy in our game rooms that's either come or about to come. Gigi says the Evercade is a great product, but my only complaint is that they need more sports games and fighting games that they don't have much of yet. Yep, that's true. I would like to see them expand on their collection and bring us more variety than we've been seeing. Brent Metz is here. He says, wondering if Sam's Club is going to get the Addams Family after the Christmas clearance. That would be huge. There was a retailer announcement that they're supposed to make. We see it there on the schedule. It's coming on the 26th. So could that be Sam's? Could that be Best Buy? Could it be Walmart? It could be any one of these. I noticed Kohl's carries a lot of the HD products right now, where a lot of the other retailers are not. Could it be something that we don't predict or think that is going to happen, and Kohl's ends up getting like some exclusive partnership to sell the 4KPs? That would be cool with the Kohl's cash. So again, like we got some big news coming from AtGames on Friday. We've got the retailer update, and we've got the sell coming, and we've got the pinball net. So it's a huge week for AtGames. Ray is saying, I'm hunting down your Star Trek score, Carl. Carl, I know he's been playing a lot. Carl says, cat cover for me. You got to keep the cat hair off the display, off the glass. You don't want them scratching anything. Arcade Talking Star Wars Review says, hey, Carlo shows up. Kevgret says, slowing down, they're dead. You could say that. I mean, they're not dead, Kevgret, but they are on life support. Thumper Squid says 19K Fox left the country because he was spotted at a Deddy party. Oh, man. No comment on that. I did catch K Fox's stream, though, tonight on that Thumper, and his camera was so grainy because he's overseas. I was thinking, too, I was like, right before the stream, I was thinking, maybe I can edit a video of me introducing the Chillin' Chat 61 and edit to make it look all grainy and then throw you guys off and make you guys think that's how the stream's starting and then end the video and come on. I thought that would have been a good poke at K-Fox tonight, but I didn't have the time to produce that. But I gave you guys the joke. Jason, has anyone heard any word about the Sega figures that were being launched exclusively at Walmart? It was teased a couple of months back by Sega coming in a few weeks, and it's been longer than that. I didn't hear anything about that, Jason. That would be something I would have to look into before I could comment on it, because I didn't hear much about it. Kevgret says they released one new title in a year. How are they alive? And yeah, I'd watched, it was the video by Evil Genius this week. Really hit home when he started that video talking about Fast and the Furious. Fast and the Furious was April of 2023. I remember I even jumped on a live stream as soon as they had announced it, or as soon as it had released that month, and talked about it. There was a lot of anticipation. There was a lot of people interested in getting that cabinet, and just thinking of how long it's been since we've gotten something similar to that. It's been over a year, because there was Time Crisis that came after that. But if you guys remember, we were talking about Time Crisis for a couple of years prior to its release. So that really wasn't like a super exciting new release, because we had known about it forever. But Fast and the Furious was, and it's been a year since we've gotten something like that from them. But there's still a ton of support. There's a ton of fans of Arcade1up still out there. I know it because I see it in our community and see comments, people that follow this channel. There is a lot of support for Arcade1up. So they're not dead yet. They are on life support, but they are digging their way out slowly out of that hole they're in And I think they should get there because each day that goes on that they're in business, the longer that they stay in business, the more chance I think we have of them making a new cabinet, something that we want to see get made. So for those Robotron fans out there, the Smash TV, what is it? Track and Field was another high possibility. These cabinets could come by the end of the year if Arcade1up can keep just staying in business and releasing something, you know, continue the partnerships like you're doing with Disney, incredible technologies with the Golden Tee. Also, we have the cloud, even though it's the, what was it? The small little bit of news we had this week on the Rabbit Builder Company. You know, just any news is news, and it's good to hear that they're still in business. They're still trying to make money and be profitable. That is the one little bit of hope we have left to see these cabinets that we truly want to see get made. So I hope it does happen. But that's it tonight, guys, for the stream. There's not much else to talk about. I didn't have much else as far as news or anything to cover. Only other thing I wanted to discuss, just a little bit of a closing remark, is I have not been checking my emails. So if you guys go to my website, At Home Arcades, you know, my plan for this website initially was to give us a place where you guys could contact me. And unfortunately, guys, I have failed you. I have not been checking these emails. I haven't probably checked this email in several months. And I'm scared to, because I know it's just going to be a lot of stuff I got to go through. So I apologize about that. I just wanted to let you guys know that, because if you guys have tried to reach out to me here and I haven't responded, that is the reason why. And it probably has cost me a ton of review units and partnerships with companies because I haven't been doing my part to follow up on these emails. But it's kind of like just how I run this channel. I don't run it like as a business. It's just more for fun. It's more to give us an opportunity and a place to talk and chat home arcade and have fun. You know, I more so enjoy watching the streams and participating in the chats like a lot of everyone in the chat tonight. You know, but I do enjoy coming on stream too as well. But it's not a job. It's like, it's just enjoyment, you know, it's a hobby. So just on that note, if you guys are trying to contact me here and I haven't responded, that's why. Really, if you guys want to get in contact with me, come on the stream and chat like you're doing tonight. That's probably the quickest and easiest way to get a hold of me. And then I'm on Facebook if you guys want to try and friend me there. I'm not going to share that on the stream, but there's plenty of people in the community that are friends with me on Facebook, and you guys can figure that out. All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up the stream. Danny Johnson says, good night, gamers. Thanks for the good game information. I appreciate it, Danny. I hope you had a good night. And I hope everyone has a good start to your week on Monday morning. Make it a good week. Definitely focus on what pays the bills, because we got a lot of really cool stuff coming up here towards the middle of this year that I discussed tonight. That's all going to really be coming to a head the end of this week, this upcoming week on the 26th. That's really where the Retro Shooter gun pre-order is going to end. That's when the new Wave Toys product announcement may happen. That's also when the Arcade1up X-Men 97 is going to release. And also AtGames, yeah, big news with the AtGames sale coming up the 26th and that retailer update. So looking forward to all this stuff. Stay tuned to the channel, guys, and I will see everyone in the next one. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.